Thank you so much for clicking on this video. In this video, we're going to be looking at top grade 8, 9 questions that will come on the topic that is number, a topic that is usually done in year 9 or sometimes in year 10, and it includes things like standard form, things like decimals and stuff like that. So there are about 5 questions. They are not in order. Some of them require calculator, some of them do not require calculator. So when you do each question, I will always tell you this one, use calculator or do not use calculator. The questions are grade 8 and 9. So I'd like you to pause the video and try question 1. Then once you've done that, then I'll run through this for you. Pause the video right now, try question 1. Okay, so I hope that you've paused the video and tried question 1. So question 1 is about upper bound and lower bound and also error interval. So if you think you've done this question correctly, you can slide the video and see the mark scheme. And if you got it right, then you can move on. Otherwise, I would like to go over this. So when they talk about the error interval basically means the maximum and the lowest range that the actual length will have been. Now, the rod was measured to nearest millimeter. Now, when you hear this, the first thing you need to do, you need to change this dimension here to millimeters. Now, remember 1 centimeter is 10 millimeters. So you times it by 10 and that will give you that. So when they say nearest millimeter, basically means to the nearest whole number, as when you've changed them to millimeters. So it was rounded to 4. That means that it was something else. It was maybe 124.1 or it was 123.6, something like that. So we need to get the upper bound and the lower bound for this. The way I normally do upper bound and lower bound is that I put the number in question on a number line in the middle, and then I'll write one that will come after it and one that will come before in the rounding that they're talking about. So if they rounded it to a nearest whole number, that means the next one will have been 125 and the one before that will have been 123. The lower bound will be the number in this place here in the middle of them, and the upper bound is going to be here. So if you think about the number between 123 and 124, you just add them and divide by 2, and that will be 123.5 lower bound. And then the one that will be here will be 124.5. Now, when we're writing the error interval now, this is how we write it. We say that the actual length will have been bigger than or equal to the lower one, which is 123.5, but will have been less than the upper bound, which is 124.5. It means that if the length was actually 124.5 millimeters, it will have rounded to 125. That's why we are saying it's just less than that. Another way of writing this, you can write bigger than or equal to 123.5, but less than or equal to 124.4999 or 4.99 recurring. So this is still acceptable, but take note, I'll put equal here as well. All right. Then the best thing you need to do now, because the numbers were given initially in centimeters, you need to divide this one back by 10 to give us the centimeters, because this one's for millimeters, okay? And that divide this one by 10 again, and that'll give us 12.45 centimeters. And I need to take this one out. So this is what they mean by the error interval. Okay, that's question A done. Question B says another rod has a length given as this to 2 decimal places. So this one is measured in meters, but it's to 2 decimal places. But they says write down the error interval for the second rod in centimeters. So with this one, the first thing you want to do, just keep it in terms of 2 decimal places, okay? And that would have been 0.86 on the higher side or 0.84 on the lower side. The lower bound will be this number here and the upper bound will be that number there, okay? Now, how do we get this number? Add them together and divide by 2. So that's going to give you that. If you add this divided by together, and this is going to 0.84, 0.855. Okay, so you just add them and divide by 2. So this is the upper bound and this is the lower bound. You see this? Okay, now write down the error interval for the second rod in centimeters. So the error interval is this. So I'm going to say the length is bigger than or equal to 0.845 and is less than 0.855. These are in meters. We need to times them by 100 to change them into centimeters. Okay? We need to times them by 100 to change them into centimeters. This is it. So this is the upper bound and this is the lower bound and so on. Now question 6 has find the maximum possible difference in length between the two rods in centimeters. The longest possible that this one was, if I remember, it was 12.45, we said, isn't it? Centimeters. Now, this is the longest possible. Now, we're going to subtract the shortest that this can be. But we have to be careful here. Which one is longer? Which one is even shorter? Which one is longer? Which one is even shorter now? The longer one is not even this because this is 0.85 meters, which means that we're going to be doing this, take away the other one. So to find the maximum possible difference, you're going to do this. You're going to take this length here and you're going to use the upper bound for it, which is 85.5 centimeters, or you could do 85.49 recurring, that's fine. And then we're going to take away the shortest of the shorter one. And that would have been 12.35 centimeters. Okay. And then you just subtract them. This is going to give you the highest answer. So you do the biggest number, take away the smallest number, and that'll give us the maximum possible difference in length between the two rods. All right. Now I want to show you the answers. So the answer for part 1, there you are. If you got this one, give yourself a tick on that. Upper bound, lower bound, error interval. And then the answer for part B was this. If you want to give yourself another tick for that one. And then the last one is the difference between them. The biggest, take away the smallest one, and that will give us the maximum possible difference. Question 1 was on bounds, upper bound and lower bound. That was question 1. Now we're going to go to question 2. Like I said before, these questions are like grade 8 and 9. So to do one question alone, you see how long it takes. So I'd like you to pause the video and try question 4. The questions are not in the right order. So pause the video and try this one. You don't need calculator for this. Okay, so I hope that you pause the video and try this. To do a question like this, the first thing you need to do, you will need to add the fractions, which is 1 over y plus 1 over x. The common denominator for this will have been when you multiply them. All right. So let's say, for example, this was 5 and this is 7. The LCM will have been 35, just times them. Okay. Now, this x will have been times by y to give me xy. So you times the top one by y as well, that'll give you y. This y will have been times by x to give me xy. So times the top as well, and that'll give you x. And then you add in them. So we have y plus x over xy. So that's the first thing that we have. Now, the next thing now we're going to do, we're going to make them equal to 5 over 6. That's what we're going to do. So the first thing I added them, and the next thing I'm going to make them equal to, so that. Okay. Now, there are so many things we can do at this point in time. You see, they've just said that x is 2y. That's what they've said. So I can start to sub things in at this point in time if I want. So where y is, I could just try to, where x, I could try to start putting y and so on to do that. Okay. And then see what that will give me. Because now I've got x and I've got y, I don't know anything. But let me do something at this stage. I want to try and make where x is, I want to put 2y at the top. That's going to be method 1. So y plus 2y at the top. And then I could just keep this one first for a minute, and that will be 5 over 6. Now the top is y plus 2y, which is 3y over xy is 5 over 6. That's what I've got so far. But you see something. You see that this y is going to cancel with that one. You see? This y is cancelling that one. So take that out. So we have 3 over x being equals to 5 over 6. Do you see this? And I can try to make x a subject here. this way. Now, how can I do that? If I do x times by 5, I should get 3 times by 6. So what do I mean by that? Let's say I've got 5, I've got a half, being the same as 2 over 4. What do you notice if you do 4 times 1 and you do 2 times 2? Do you notice that they're the same? So you do 4 times 1, do 2 times the same thing. So I'm going to do 6 times 3, which is going to give me 18. X times 5 is going to give me 5x. So far, I've got 5x equals to 18. And I can divide both sides by 5. So x is going to be equals to 18 over 5. That's what x is. So we are done with x. Now I can find what y is. But you see, y, they say that 2y is what x is, isn't it? So that means that 2y is going to be equals to 18 over 5. So to find what y is, I can divide by y by 2. Can divide both sides by 2. So y is going to be equals to 18 over 5 divided by 2. And this is going to be 18 over 5 times by 1 over 2, half. Okay? Dividing by 2 same as halving. And this 2 and this 18 will cancel out, and I'll have 9 over 5. So that's what y is going to be. Okay, so that's how to do this. So this is grade 8 to 9. All right. So you might want to have a look at what they've done. They've changed their their fractions to decimals, but I didn't. Okay, so now we go to the next question. I will do just 3 questions in this video, and the remaining ones I will do in another video because the questions are taking a lot of time to do because they're hard questions. So I'm going to move on to the next question, and the next question is on standard form, and I would like you to pause the video and try question 2. Do not use calculator on this. Okay, so I hope that you've tried this one. It says work out how many microscopic particles are needed to match the mass of the object, which means we need to divide. Now, when you're dividing standard form, you just put one on top of the other one, and then you draw a line like this, and then you start. Okay. Now, both of their units are in kilograms, so that makes life easier. So I'll do 4.5 divided by 3, and that will give us 1.5. And now when I do this by that, the powers cancel, they subtract. So 12 take away 8 minus 8 is going to be 20, because 12 take away negative 8 becomes like you're adding them now, so that's going to be 20. And that's the answer. So when you're dividing indices, you subtract the powers. That's that. It says work out how many microscopic particles are needed to match the mass of the object. This is the mass of the object, and this is a small particle. So how many of these will go into that? So that is, there's nothing else to be done, and the answer is already in 2 square figures. There's just nothing else to be done there. That's it. Okay. Part 2 says write it in 2 single figures. Is already in 2 significant figures. Is this one here? 1.515 is single figures. That's just it. Okay. Now we still have 2 questions to go to get this done. So I will leave those, and I'm going to do those in the next video. So then one video is not too long. I don't want one video to be too long. Okay, so that's just going to be that. So thank you so much. If you are looking for other videos, you can go to Teacher Mr. Wino. There are so many videos there, and also not just maths as well. You could also do biology. You could also find chemistry. You could also find physics. Exams are questions. Okay, so you're allowed to visit that. If you want to share the video, if you want to subscribe, if you want to like, that is still fine. All right. So thank you so much. And this is going to be the end of this video.